Can't convince me that men don't love more purely and more unconditional. Let me explain. Women can come into a relationship and have literally nothing. They can work a part-time job. They can be making minimum wage. They could have no money in their bank account. Some women can even be in debt, and men will still accept them for exactly who they are, because these men are looking for partnerships and wives. Also, men will accept women's psychotic breaks. Men will accept the irrational behavior. They will tolerate so much disrespect. It can be dragged. Men that truly love women will let their women put them through the ringer, and they still won't leave. They love these women for exactly who they are, and even if she wants to change her career or go to nursing school, 9 times out of 10, he's going to help her and fund that and support her. Whether she's dressed up or she's dressed down, there's nothing about her that he doesn't love, because he fell in love with her for exactly who she is. But women, on the other hand, have a laundry list of expectations and standards that change based on the men that they're with. And then it changes even more once the men meet those requirements or those expectations, because they are expecting these men to fill the unhappy void that's basically unfillable, because it's something that she has to do within herself. Women love with conditions. They don't love purely. And it's conditional based on what he can give her. And that's why you hear so many women leave after men lose their jobs. Women expect their men to always be changing and be in tune with their emotions, but guess what? 9 times out of 10, women don't even understand their own emotions and expect men to just kind of guess as they go. And it's just not the same for men. Men love more purely and more unconditionally, and you can't convince me otherwise. Okay, bye.
Big shout out goes to Miss Sarah Eaton. She's huge over on TikTok, but she's also over here on YouTube, and I'll leave a link to her channel down below, pinned at the top. Go by and check her out, guys, if you haven't already. Stop by, say hi, tell her I sent you. But I want to give a lot of credit where it's due, because most of the time I'm a little hesitant when it comes to women in this space, because for every one woman who's truly on top of things, you have a bunch of chameleons as well. But I will give Miss Sarah here a lot of credit, give her flowers when she can smell them, because she's been consistently on top of things, and the women, the hyenas, despise her, hate her guts, because she calls them out every chance she gets. But she hit the nail right on the head, because I've said it many times on this channel. If you're new here, welcome. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. But I've said it many times before, a man's love is for real, but a woman's love is for sale. And when you understand that she's for sale to the highest bidder, it forces you, if you're the kind of guy who pays attention, that is, to move differently when it comes to them. You have to be careful. You gotta watch your asses out here, fellas, because it's not a game. Because the only thing these women out here playing is for keeps. Don't take my word for it. Roll the clip.
I was definitely in a situation where I guess you could say, like, I was kind of straight financially because he was taking care of me. But then I got to a point to where I didn't like him anymore. So then it's like, I really need to make my own money now because I don't want to deal with you anymore. Like, this relationship has ran its course. And I think a lot of the time women don't talk about that part of dealing with somebody who is, like, quote unquote, taking care of you too. Because sometimes you don't even really like that man for real no more. You really don't want to have to deal with him, but you're dealing with him because of what he's doing.
Right. And I think that was your motivation as well.
And that was my motivation to really, like, get on my shit with this show.
Woman really left her husband because he was too perfect. Fellas, this is a reminder. Sometimes you gotta choose chaos and violence just to keep things interesting. This man's net worth is near $100 million. He was a great husband and great father, but in 2024, that's just not good enough.
Kaka's ex-wife revealed the reason she divorced him was because he was a perfect husband. Kaka never betrayed me. He always treated me well. He gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was that he was too perfect for me. This is what you say when you were made for the streets. He didn't deserve this, man. Men like Kaka do not deserve to be treated this way. And the courts let him do it.
Women thrive off of speculation and argument, so you over here being just Mr. Perfect is just boring. Spice up your love life and get you a side piece, fellas. Not because you want it, just because you want to keep things interesting. Kakas, or however you say it, you need to call this dude up. He's gonna get you right.
Kaka's ex-wife has come out and explained why she divorced Kaka back in 2015, and her reasoning is unbelievable. She said that he never betrayed her, never did anything wrong to her, but he was simply too perfect for her. Listen to this, it's unbelievable. She said, Kaka never betrayed me. He treated me well, he gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was he was too perfect for me. Like it says right here, Kaka is a devout Christian. Now, obviously, just because you're a Christian does not mean you're a good person, but ever since I was a little kid, I've always heard good things about Kaka as a person. I've always heard that he's a good person. So in 2005, when Kaka was in his prime playing for AC Milan, they got married. And then in 2015, she decided to divorce Kaka because apparently he was too perfect. Not only were they together for 10 years, but they also have a daughter and a son together. He still chose to leave Kaka because he was too perfect for her. If I was Kaka, I would be heated, bro. I would be so angry. Now, they got married in 2005, but apparently Kaka knew her since they were a kid. So the divorce happened in 2015, but thankfully in 2017, Kaka got remarried to a new woman called Carolina Diaz. But yeah, hopefully Kaka now is happy with his new wife because his ex-wife kind of did him dirty. If you like Brazilian football, please give me a follow. I am always talking about Brazilian football in English. Shout out Daily Mail for the article.
We here in the manosphere often find ourselves talking about six-figure this and six-figure that. Kaka, and I don't follow soccer very well, but this man is a 9-figure individual who's, again, by all rights, a great man who does great things. His wife waited what I would imagine, I don't know much about Brazilian law, but she waited the prerequisite 10 years and 2 kids to let the government help her cash out. This is what happened to him, and he got remarried. I wouldn't have did it, but shout to him. His life, his call. But I would be furious if I provided a life that she never could have provided to herself, just for her to betray me like this. And his story, unfortunately, is not unique, guys. What happened to him happens far too often. Now, he's in Brazil, but he's just a case study of what's happening to men all over the West right now. It's awful that a good man could be betrayed like this just so some chick with dollar signs in her eyes could go and run off to the cash window at the family court. Absolutely sickening.
So I thought I'd talk for just a minute about this divorce that I'm going through. Because I'm sure, just like I found some relatable advice through here, other people might relate to me. So I was married for 10 years. I got married young. I was 21, barely, like 3 days, 21. Already had a baby. He was 8 weeks old at our wedding. And I remember feeling like my marriage was temporary from the beginning. Like that I wasn't going to make it. And I didn't know what that feeling was. I just thought it was cold feet. But it kind of manifested itself for the next 10 years. And here we are 10 years later going through a divorce. So he didn't really start this process. I guess it was more so me, because I was always looking for someone else because I didn't know how to be loved or how to accept love from somebody. And so while he was fighting for me, I was pushing him away. But I never truly accepted happiness. I left the good guy. I left the guy that everybody looks at and is like, that's a dad. That's a husband. That's how it's supposed to be. He did the dishes. He cleaned the house. He took the kids to school. He worked all day. He made good money. He supported us. Yeah, we had our problems, but he was the good guy. So I'm here to tell you, it's okay to leave the good guy. Don't stay because he's the good guy. Leave because he's not the guy for you. Leave because you have to be happy. Because if you don't feel in love, then who cares if he's the good guy? And that is a harsh reality that I'm facing right now, and a lot of scrutiny from a lot of people. But it's okay to leave the good guy. I hope that helps you, because nobody nobody has looked me dead in the eye and say, it's okay to leave the good guy.
People say I'm cynical because I've been saying for years that women plan their divorce settlements at the bachelorette party. They decide for themselves just how long they're going to pretend to love the man. They decide for themselves, unless something surprises them and they don't go through with the Planned Parenthood style procedure, just how many kids they're gonna rack up before they go and cash out. And there's a lot of people who say I'm cynical for that I'm thinking the worst of modern women. How dare I? Only to hear it from their own mouths. This woman said from the very beginning, this guy was temporary. Now there's a 100% chance she never told him this. There's a 100% chance that as they were creating babies and he was down on one knee with that really expensive jewelry he wanted to give her, that she did not tell him that her entire goal from day one was to fuck him over in family court. He never got that memo, guys. They never had that conversation. Because that was for her to know and for him to find out in the worst possible way. You will at some point in the very near future, and way faster than you thought it ever could happen, you are going to get the surprise of your life, and not a good one. You see, guys, she said out of her own mouth that she was always destined for the streets. She couldn't be loved because she had no idea how it worked. She couldn't be committed to this guy long term because he was always temporary. And in the exact same breath, out of the exact same mouth, she said this man was good to her, good to his kids, a provider, a protector. He did everything right, but fuck this guy, because it's going to be a lot better for me spending his money without him being around. Isn't it interesting? Yet another backstabbing piece of shit abandoning ship after 10 years. Now, I don't know where they live. Chances are it's probably California. And if so, her plan was complete. Because out there, if you're unfortunate enough to get married in or be married and live in that state, once you reach 10 years and 1 day, you now qualify for lifetime alimony. A man has to pay you until one of you dies just because you breathe. And he signed the stupidest piece of paper ever printed. What a damn shame. What a damn shame. And this right here, I'm telling you right now, guys, I've said it before, and I'll gladly say it again until everybody understands. Fuckboys are created from scratch and not born. This guy will enter his supervillain arc because people like her follow the advice of their single hoe friends and people like this on social media. Roll the clip.
If your husband is a good guy, but you're ready for divorce, you're not a bad person. So don't let guilt get the best of you. You're not doing him any favors by staying. If anything, you're actually going to start building up resentment. Your relationship doesn't have to be toxic to validate your feelings of wanting to leave.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
You see, it's women like this giving advice like that which makes the American marriage rate the lowest it's been since the American Civil War. And I don't think that's high enough. We need to get those numbers up, fellas.
Think of it this way. If he's a good guy, he deserves to be happy. That means he deserves to be with somebody who values him and wants him just the way he is. If that's not you, you gotta let him go. He may not see it like this right now, but you're doing both of you a favor.
Without a second thought, these women don't give any consideration to what happens to the men who are on the receiving end of this horrible treatment. What happens to the men who did nothing wrong and yet have the person they thought had their back betray them like this? I'll show you.
So how much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan I spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these. And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25. Indirect costs, my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again, my belief in God, my pride, my motivation, my physical health. I don't know, let's just say everything.
Far more often than not, women get offended when they hear men say, both in person and on the internet, that marriage and even commitments are the last thing they want to be a part of. They take it as a personal offense, a shot against them specifically, as though they are the subject of the conversation. But I have a different thought, a different point of view, if you will. When you hear good men getting mistreated this way, legally being stolen from and broken like this, when they've never done anything to deserve it, what tends to happen is, one, they become different people afterwards. This man has talked about what he's lost, both economically as well as his own personal value, how he sees himself. But other men, young men especially, are watching this happen to guys like him and saying, you're never gonna do this to me. I don't care how beautiful she is. I don't care how big her tits are. No way am I signing that paperwork. No way does she get a key to my place. No way are we intermingling assets and finances. Not a chance in hell. Because this right here is evil. We have to stop rewarding Western women with marriage and kids, guys. They've proven every chance they get they don't deserve it. That's all I can take for one day, guys. That's my time. Like the video, comment down below. Share with a friend and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, we working. Until next time.